I first became familiar with the agricultural economics sector back in 1985. I was working as a writer in Washington, D.C. I was assigned to study the 1985 farm legislation. And in the course of that assignment, I learned about policy, the farms and distribution industries that are affected by policy. And at that point, I had decided that when I went on to further education and to specialize with my PhD, it would be in the agricultural field.
I started out working in the government. I actually worked for the CIA for a few years right out of college, and then transferred over to the Department of Agriculture. I worked as the the Special Assistant to Deputy Undersecretary for a number of years, and then spent some time in the Economic Research Service as a researcher. Left there and went to the private sector. I did some forecasting for a forecasting firm, part of Chase Manhattan Bank, and then decided what I really wanted to do was teach and use some of my background in policy making and public and in working with agribusinesses in the private sector to teach. And so I left and went to Iowa State University, and then about 28 years ago I came here.
My first position at Purdue, where I worked in grain elevator and feed mill management, and then my next position, which was at UC Davis, where I worked mainly in dairy economics, but also with a lot of other commodities. And that led me to go to work for a dairy co-op located, headquartered north of San Francisco. I did that for about 10 years, and after that I came here to Texas A&M.
I call myself the accidental ag economist. My degree as an undergraduate was in math with a minor in economics, but I was always interested in solving problems.
But I also do international research as well as domestic research, mostly focused on trade and marketing.
Most of my research has been on the financial impacts of food safety, either the effects of problems, which I studied through analysis of stock market response when a company experiences a food safety related problem. And then other financial related studies that I've done have been on the distribution sector, investments in the cold chain, in ways to preserve foods, on modeling the distribution system to see that foods are preserved and not wasted to the extent possible, while still making the distribution system as efficient as it can be.
It allows me to reflect back on my industry experiences when I teach in the classroom, and it keeps the instruction very down to earth and very pragmatic. So I would never present a model to my students if I didn't think that was something they were going to use in their work environment.
One of the niches that ag economists offers, as opposed to straight economics, is that focus on practical solving abilities. So I like that. And a natural for me, if you look at the value chain, or what we call the marketing channel from producers to consumers, it's obviously a valuable part of our economy. In fact, a lot of documentation, 12 to 15% of our GDP is linked to that, with 80% of that leaving the farm gate.